sound out there. In the foreground, the historic Mukilteo Lighthouse, and beyond us, just across the water, Whidbey Island. And sooner, hopefully not rather than later, we'll see one of the ferries go by. See you on the other side, Nick says. Right on. I'm not headed that way. Are you out on Whidbey Island? Wouldn't that be something? Hey, Zach. Good to see you once again. It's been a fun day of live streaming, seeing you, engaging with you on other scopes or broadcasts. Yes, I'm on Stardust 69. I'm on HAPS at the moment. Been doing a few streams here and there on HAPS. And what we'll do here is we'll venture forward and go toward the water in just a moment. The other side of Periscope. There you go, Nick. You like Twitter Live, much better. That's great feedback. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. We're going to go towards the water in just a moment, but I just kind of wanted to absorb this wonderful view. There's one way to do it. Yeah, that's a lighthouse. This lighthouse dates back to the 1800s, early 1900s, if I recall correctly. Thanks for the feedback, Nick. The guy who designed this lighthouse is from Europe, or was from Europe. No longer alive. There's a good look. If you're watching on Facebook, because I am simultaneously streaming from HAPS to multiple social media platforms, I don't think I can see the Facebook comments on here. So if you're commenting and I'm not responding, please just know that I'm not able to see them apparently on this app. Yeah, it's really nice here. Sorry, I've got a cord going from my phone to my gimbal to charge the phone, and it got snagged on a post there. Isn't that beautiful? Kelly Fritz, how are you? We're going to go down to the water, and I'm going to put you right on the water's edge. Let's go there. Flip it around as we go for our walk. There we go. Thanks, Kalisi. Is it Kalisi? Misa? Nice to have you along. Nick, thanks for subscribing. Thanks, Tracy. Let's flip it back around. Congratulations. Somebody just got married. Wish them congratulations. Weddings are really popular down here. Yes. You know, Grace, Doreen, I don't know if I can see it from down here on the beach. We'll take a look in that direction around the bend. This was my first time driving down here since they tore out the old parking pay booths. Yeah, we have seals here, and it's very common to see California sea lions going by too. Tell you what, we'll do this first. Give you the sound of the water. There we go. No need to hear me talk a lot when you can listen to that. All right, now we'll go around the bend and see if we can see the ferry terminal, because I have not explored that, the view of the new terminal from around the corner here. Let's see if we can see it. Is that right, Doreen? I'll take the gentle moments out here, that's for sure. I think my view would be blocked by a dock over here, Doreen. Oh, we can see it. Hang on. But I can only go so far, because there are bright signs that say no trespassing. Hi. Used to come down here and play when I was a kid. It used to be what we called the oil dock. We go underneath it, you can see so many perch feeding on the pilings. Okay, so I'm not going to go underneath this. It's a criminal offense, as you can see. But if I go down here, and we'll zoom in, and you'll be able to see a ferry in dock. I've lived in Washington State most of my life. I went away for 20 years when I was working in television. Most of that was out of state. I was not born here. I was born in England. Okay, so if you look in the distance there, you do see a ferry that's in dock right now. So I'm sure we'll see that when it departs. You guys see it okay? All right, I am going to keep my eye out. This is just beautiful. Let's look at this view. How about that, you guys? What a beautiful view. You're welcome, Doreen. How have you been, Doreen? Thanks, Zach. It's tax season. Ask you in a month. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I love that lighthouse. Let's do something like this for just a moment. I'm hearing the ferry's engine rumbling, so it may be going out soon. Hey, Janine, thank you so much. Nice to see you here. Janine, Triple Tall told me again that I missed a comment in a scope or a HAPS broadcast or a HAPS broadcast yesterday from you, and she tried to answer it in the comments. So once again, I missed you. I know I responded to some of your comments, but I try to monitor, but I keep my head on a swivel, and you know, my mind's all over the place too, so. There we go. A beautiful light. There's just a very small bulb in there. I've been up there, and I learned from one of the historians here who told me all about the history of it. Pretty cool. Kind of like that view with the, let's back up and get that. Just a little bit longer until the ferry leaves, and then we'll explore some more. It was neat driving down here from higher ground because I could really see the peaks of the Olympic Mountains. You know, we might even catch a bit more color of that sunset over there. Seems like it wants to grab some, just some maybe very light peach color. Other people out here with their cameras and tripods trying to get that money shot. Not necessarily for money, but that one that's that pops, that stands out, makes you want to look at it again and again over the years. So looking off in the distance, I can see that the ferry from Whidbey Island is now leaving the island and headed this way. Let's see if you guys can make it out when I zoom in. It'll be here in about 15 minutes. Appreciate the mask emoji with that kind donation. Thank you, Janine Sadola. Real estate in Nanaimo. If you need a house or you're selling a house on Vancouver Island, especially the southern end of the island, get a hold of Real Estate in Nanaimo. Oh, you're both watching. That's wonderful. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Definitely keeping my eye out for sea lions. It's not uncommon to see them going along the shoreline here, about 30 yards out. That kind of activity, for some reason, always seems to pick up more when the ferry's leaving dock. Something that just seems to have been the occurrence. Oh, it wouldn't let you comment unless you uploaded a photo. That's interesting, Janine. Hey, I'm learning all the time about this app. Oh, I guess it's dinner time. Did you hear the bell ring? There's a triangle on the other side of the lighthouse, right outside the door. Hey, Guy! Guy, nobody can appreciate those words that you just typed more than you. Guy lives in the area, and Guy found himself in a life-threatening situation out there in the water, and darn near died of hypothermia. And thank goodness you're still very much with us, Guy. Guy is the owner of the DVE store. It used to be, it's a massive building. It used to be the Everett Herald, our major newspaper in nearby Everett, Washington. And now it's the DVE store. And think of it like, if you're familiar, obviously, with Amazon or maybe even B&H Photo, think of it in those veins, but with outstanding customer service, even after the sale, beyond the support that you get with manufacturers. So if you buy a camera, if you buy lights, if you buy audio equipment, his people are there. They're not going anywhere. They'll answer all your questions before and after and do everything they can to help you. They've been there for me and offered to help even when it's not equipment that I bought from them. So check it out on the web, dvestore.com. That's D as in dog or digital. Let's do it that way. V as in video and E as in electronics, dvestore.com. And there goes the ferry. We'll zoom in a bit through. You know, it was my car said it was 51 degrees, but Siri told me it was 54 degrees when I got out of the car after I parked here at about 7:05. Sunset was at 7:31. So, Guy, it looks like you're watching on Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook, then lo and behold, I can read Facebook comments on this app. So it's pretty apparent. I'm using the HAPS app, which for a lot of us who have streamed and watched broadcasts on Periscope over the years, it's pretty well documented. Periscope is no more at the end of the month, so 4 more days of Periscope. And a lot of people are trying out HAPS, or a lot of people seem very enthusiastic about it. I'm not in the water. I'm very close, right in front of me though. I can put you right down at the water's edge, but here is the ferry that's leaving Mukilteo for nearby Whidbey Island, straight shot across this sliver of Puget Sound. And the one that just left the dock that this one's aiming for is right over here. And it's gonna dock where this one just left. So there you go. It's sad that I'm not in the water. Here, I'll put you at the water's edge. We did a little bit of this earlier, but let's give you a little bit of just the water lapping up on the shoreline here. I'll back it up a little bit. The water is pretty calm. It looks so smooth. And there's really not much of a breeze down here, so I'll pull my mask down so you can hear me a little better. Nobody's around me at the moment. But there's something to be said for, well, it looks clean. Zora Z, it looks clean. There are a lot of opinions about the water quality. I know that Frontline on PBS did an excellent documentary on America's most polluted waterways, and Puget Sound, which you're looking at, was on that list. And thanks in large part to some historic activity down in the Tacoma area. I think it was the Duwamish River that had a big impact on the water quality here. There goes a bird flying across just above the water. How's that? Oh, how far am I away from the German town Leavenworth? Um, it's about an hour and a half drive. About an hour and a half. From here, you just get on the nearby highway that runs east-west. You're going to take it east. It's called Highway State Route 2. And you're going to go over the Cascade Mountains, come down the other side aiming for Wenatchee, but you're going to stop short of getting down into central Washington, where Wenatchee is located, in very much a desert climate. Bavarian, that's right, the Bavarian town of Leavenworth. So while you're still on the eastern slopes of the Cascade Mountains, you come across Leavenworth. Plastic pollution in the oceans is a major problem. Yeah, no doubt. What's the name for the blob? Is it called the blob? You know, an area in our oceans out in the Pacific that kind of collects a lot of the garbage. You know, and I watched some documentaries on a company that's making like these boats that catch garbage in rivers. And I think they're using it maybe in India. I'm trying to remember. But some really cool technology to help collect garbage before it even reaches the oceans by way of rivers. Yeah, Leavenworth is beautiful. Yeah, no doubt about it. Is all shoreline on the gravel that you have like that, or do you have sand beaches too? We have sand beaches too. There are some sandy beaches, not all of them, but there are some on the coastline of Washington State. I think by and large, though, people agree that if you're looking for sand, the best are probably in Oregon. How peaceful, Mark. Thank you. And hello, Karen Murphy Amoroso. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very kind words. Thank you for saying hello and leaving a comment here. David Petty says, Geyer. I'm not sure what you mean by that, David. If it's a typo or something that's just not clicking for me, feel free to explain or elaborate. Geyer, Mark. Ah, I know you're referring to something I said probably about the garbage, or what's the pollution blob out in the Pacific. Ocean Geyer. Okay, I've had two spellings on it now. I will definitely nail it down, though. Thanks for the heads up. It's both. You can get upwards of around 200, 180 to 200 on a lot of these ferries in terms of the number of vehicles. They're usually multi-deck levels of parking. Plastic, that is the term. Thank you so much, David. Pacific Beaches, Sandy. Thanks, Ron, for the info. No worries. No reason to apologize, man. Love the shared knowledge. Okay. We're going to explore in this direction just a moment, but let's just check out we'll back it up a little bit more and just take in this view with the historic lighthouse again. Once again, if you join late, I can't go past this area. Yeah, but what a view. I can smell fire from the beach down that direction, just around the bend. We'll go that way. Isn't it beautiful? I agree, Karen. The guy who designed that was from Europe, and he designed a lot of the architecture for Pacific Northwest and even some Alaska lighthouses. About the floating devices to help gather the floating plastic debris. Thank you, David. Yeah, I've watched some videos on that just a few years ago to see how that technology, these, I don't know if we call them like similar to barges or what, but they're on the river and they don't even have to have a human being running them. They're on the river and they catch things. It's pretty cool. All right. We'll see some more human beings around the bend. Now, if the water was, if we were at high tide, it would be up here and we would be in the water. So tide's down low at the moment, affording us the ability to walk around this stretch, get that perspective with the sky at twilight and the lighthouse. It's pretty nice view. Never have been to Washington except to switch plane to go to Vancouver. Well, I hope you get a chance to check it out sometime, Julie. It's pretty nice. Much like Vancouver in a lot of ways. And a lot of people don't realize that Washington's a pretty diverse state. Once you get over the Cascade Mountains, you get into Upper Sonoran Desert. That's right. The same, very similar to what you would experience in Arizona, except no cacti. Thank you very much, Kelly. Take care. Pleasure to have you along for the ride. I'll wrap it up shortly, but I thought it would be fun to show you a little bit more of the activity on the beach up here just past the boat launch. Hey, Triple Tall. Good to see you here. It's good to be down here. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Julie. I'm also at Beyond 90 Seconds on Haps. Oh, yeah, definitely. It gets quite hot there in the central part of Washington State. Again, that's the central part between the Cascade Mountains and, say, the area on the east side, which includes Spokane. Now, that area in between is wide and large, and much of it has very little population. All at once, the waves are coming in a little bit stronger here. Wow, very slippery here at low tide. So I'm going to go over here. I'm on the boat launch, and the concrete has green stuff all over it, and it's slickery, as they say. David says, Mark, my wife Barbie, and I first found you on Periscope just before we moved back to Washington. Of course, I remember. Yes, and you were advising me of your travels at that time, if I recall correctly. Okay, so I have some catching up on the comments. Just wanted to give you that view. So a lot of people are moving to Haps. That's where I'm Haps TV. So that's HAPPS if you're not familiar with it. You can download it from Google Play or the Apple App Store on your iOS device. You can also go to haps.tv, HAPPS.tv on your browser and find it that way. And it's been interesting. Overall, I would say it's been overwhelmingly positive from most of the people I listen to who speak about their experience on HAPS and where it's headed. So nice to rejoin you. Would absolutely love your demeanor with your audience. Oh, thank you very much, David. That's much appreciated. I tend to be like this a lot of the time. If it's necessary for me to be the hard-edged journalist that I used to be back in my news days, I can be that guy too. But I just like to keep this, there's enough going on in our lives. There's enough going on in the lives of others that we don't even know about. And if I can somehow put some positivity into your day or evening, then that's a wonderful contribution. Okay, and Twitch. J&J says, Twitch, thank you for the information. You're most welcome. And I want to acknowledge Janine and not miss another comment for the third broadcast in a row. Shauna says this is her favorite live feed of yours yet. So peaceful and picturesque. A 10, a high 10, and a smiley face. Thank you so much, Shauna, and thank you for sharing, Janine. I'm glad you two are hanging out together apparently tonight, having a good time in Nanaimo up there in British Columbia on Vancouver Island. So awesome to keep the engagement going with everybody. Right on, David. Hey, let's go explore. Speaking of people, let's go see some human beings. We're gonna walk right by the old fire. So several people having a nice little fire along the beach tonight. Oh, is it? That's awesome. Whoa! Yeah, David, Christian Sasa is still very much doing live streaming. Yeah, absolutely. Hi. I'm on an app called Haps. Have you heard of it? It's a lot of people use Twitter or Periscope. Have you heard of Periscope? No. You've heard of Facebook, right? And Instagram. A lot of people like to live stream. And I like to live stream. And the app that a lot of us have used is going away at the end of the month, so I'm trying a new app.
Okay.
And I'm sharing on other social platforms all at once. So that's why you see a guy talking to himself with his camera. And I think it's. Can I show your fire?
Of course.
Yeah, it is. You guys have a rockin' fire going. Do you guys do this very much?
Not as often as we like.
Yeah, I hear that. Thanks for putting up with me. You too. Take care. Hey, Kit. Kit Harvey, wonderful to see you as always. No trains to my knowledge, Kit, since I've been out here, but I'm a bit removed from the tracks. Yeah, how about all those wonderful fires going? I'm gonna sit on this big old rock here. That was probably underwater a couple hours ago. So that'll cool the backside. But nice to stop and share twilight with you. Still grabbing enough light to provide a decent picture, so that's good. So just to finish up your point, your question, I guess my response, David, about Christian, he's still really busy, as Kit Harvey will attest to. Um, but yeah, he really likes Haps. He's done a little bit on Haps, and I'm confident you'll be able to see a lot more wildlife, especially bald eagle, broadcasting from him in the future, as well as some stuff regarding the night sky from time to time. Got any eagles where you are? Yeah, there are eagles. And, last night, I saw a couple of them. And one, when I started my scope last night I was above this beach on a bluff right over there, up that bluff and amongst those trees. So I was, I don't know, about 50, 70 feet above the water, overlooking the water, the railroad right beneath me. And as I started that scope, there was an eagle in one of the trees nearly overhead, and it was very, very clear that everybody, we could all hear it. And then I saw a couple out on the water. It's wonderful to sit here, and he's on TikTok too. Ah, that's right, at the cemetery. That's actually a cemetery. It's a historic cemetery. It's with a park-like setting. And yeah, it's absolutely encouraged to go in there and watch a sunset. You're very much welcome to do so. I'm not going to zoom in on it because it'll be so pixelated, but way to the south, I can see a ferry that's moving right to left, and it's going from Kingston, Washington to Edmonds, Washington. So it's always neat to be able to see on a night like this, even the lights of a ferry miles away, going to another familiar place. You loved the shot of the fires. Oh, right on. And I would have paused there. I would have loved to mix and mingle and talk to some people, but I was a little hesitant. Although I did, I guess, speak to the two young ladies briefly. Wonderful. Both of your contributions of bringing people close and personal with the treasure of the Pacific Northwest. Hey, thanks, David. Really appreciate that. So, David, it looks like you're watching on Facebook. Now, I don't know that I think maybe the first time I did a broadcast, I connected to Facebook using this app called Haps. But this is the first time I believe I'm seeing comments from Facebook. And in fact, that's what's happening here. That's really good to know, because I can definitely read the comments from Periscope. I think I'm even on YouTube, but I'm not seeing any YouTube comments. How do you think they're going to get that ship out of the Suez Canal? That's a terrific question. That is the I don't even know. I want to say the $1 million question, but really there's a price tag related to that question that exceeds $1 million for certain. That impact on goods that even I believe are going to be arriving here is going to result in an increase in price. You are on Facebook, and the feed came across your page that you were broadcasting. Fantastic. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually streaming on not my personal page, but the Beyond 90 Seconds page. That's what I selected for an option. So hopefully that's the way it's working. And I know the folks on that page haven't seen me for several weeks because I've just been so busy this year, and I only just started doing some live streaming. I haven't even been taking pictures, and for me to not be taking pictures is highly unusual. You can see, you can be seen from the international. It can be seen from the International Space Station. Oh, it can. Oh, in the Suez Canal, that ship. That's amazing. Your fat fingers don't do well for. Hey, that's the way I am all the time, David. I totally get that. That is that is me when it comes to texting. I feel like I spend half the time going back and correcting before I send, and hopefully I catch it all. Pretty dark down this end, you guys. And you know what? I could even see slight glow for I believe where the moon is. Yeah, I'll put it in the center of the screen there. Do you see it? Just a bit of light, because I think we're still near a full moon. And so that's just bleeding through the cloud cover. There was a tweet today. I want to say it was either a Parks tweet or maybe a Weather Service tweet, probably the Seattle Weather Office. And it showed, the comment in the tweet was cloudy down here in the Puget Sound region, but all's beautiful and sunny in the mountains. And it showed a couple of photos, as I recall. I think I retweeted it. And it looked like a beautiful day up in the Cascade Mountains today. Triple Tall writes Beyond 90 Seconds. I think that might be a reference to my HAPS handle, just like I am here. Yes, Beyond 90 Seconds. Triple Tall, thank you very much. The cool thing that I'm benefiting from here in terms of the weather is there's really not much wind at all. And it only takes a slight breeze for you to kind of hear it slapping against my phone microphone. And that's the reason I oftentimes wear a wireless lavalier microphone. I'm not doing that tonight. I've got my phone on a gimbal, and I was still tempted to work that out and do that before I came out. And I'm glad I didn't, because the weather's perfect, and I would have missed the sun going down over Whidbey Island, which we just managed to capture that just in the last moments. It's beautiful as we began this broadcast tonight. Thanks, Triple Tall. Really appreciate you jumping in there and moderating and helping answer questions. And then when I get home, Triple Tall tells me all the comments that I missed. Janine wrote the same comment twice and you missed it. Well, it's not quite that tone, but it's nice to let me know those things, so I really appreciate it. Did anybody watch any of the tornado coverage today on any of the live streams? For example, Periscope, where Jeff Pietrowski is absolutely the most phenomenal play-by-play analyst of weather out in the field that I've ever seen. And I've been watching him, like a lot of you, on Periscope for a few years now. And just amazing coverage and information and context. Triple Tall says, thumbs up. I'll tell you what, I'm going to walk back this way because I think we're likely to catch, we'll go by those fires again. I think we're likely to catch the ferry going out by the time we get from point A here to point B where we last saw the ferries. We'll show a ferry at night. It's interesting, the rocks on the beach get much smaller as I get further away from the water. Everything that's wet is larger. You can see where the tide, well, you can't anymore, but I can. There's a clear division to how high the tide got today, which is about where I'm standing. Everything to my right is dry. Everything to my left is wet. Oh, there goes the ferry. So I can see in the distance to the left the ferry leaving Whidbey Island, and then obviously the nearby ferry that's leaving Mukilteo. I wanted to try something. Isn't that awesome? What a way to a nice way to spend the evening. Oops, sorry about that. Wish I can get that in focus. So there's a ferry approaching. The fire? That'd be a great photograph if I had my camera. You got two ferries there. You got the fire, you got the wonderful beach, and there's no wind. Thanks, Triple Tall. And I guess we'll close where we began, which is over at the lighthouse. Let's get a shot of the lighthouse with the ferry as it arrives. Heads up, Triple Tall, I'm going to smell like smoke when I get home. And it's a good smell to me right now. May not be to you. did some volunteer work here about 3 years ago, and my two youngest sons were out here with me, and we helped plant flowers and dig out old bulbs and stuff. So we did some gardening here at the lighthouse. That was a lot of fun. There's our lighthouse. Just as the light goes away, you can finally just briefly see that wonderful glass. Well said, David. That's right, Kit. Where Jamie and you and we all met on your trip from Redding, California up to see Christian in Canada. And we stood out here. I remember the day was cold and drab, and we had our rain jackets on. But it was warm in the sense that I got to meet you, and that was wonderful. That was so nice that you made the time to do that. This is where I need Janine's fancy new iPhone 12 in low light. It's interesting how the water is just calmly lapping up on the beach here, but just around the corner, back around the bend where the campfires are, the water's hitting the shoreline much more briskly. Thanks, Kit. I feel the same way. It was a bonus to meet Jamie, too. One of the several things I do like about the HAPS app is it really makes it clear in terms of the signal strength that you have for your device, usually our phone, right? And it says my signal strength is great. And it's showing me what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, 5 out of 5. So that's good to know. Gives me some peace of mind. I think you'll see the ferry coming into view here. Oh, I'm hearing the rumble of a train at the same time. How about that, kid? So the railroad's off to my right, and it's about 100 yards away, 150 yards maybe. You know it, Kit. So the comments are kind of hiding the left side of my shot right now, so I can't guarantee that you're seeing where the ferry's located, but hopefully you can see it. I think you can. I know you can because I can just see the two bright highlights, two lights, front and back. Back one is higher. I can see them bleeding through the comments, so that's good. All right, so what was billed as a sunset has turned into a nighttime dark scope. Long enough to see a couple of ferry runs back and forth. I think we started with that ferry before it even left the first time. And here it is back now from Whidbey Island, arriving here in Mukilteo. I hope you all enjoyed this. Seems very apropos to have Kit on board and the sound of the train and a ferry arriving and campfires nearby. And I get to smell like smoke. Hey, it's all a recipe for having lived a little bit tonight and being able to engage with all of you and share. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this type of content, feel free to like, subscribe, whatever the app you're watching on calls for. And feel free to share too. It's not always like this, but it often is. Sometimes there's breaking news and I'll chase that too. Thank you so much, Janine. 5 stars. Wow. Now the pressure's on. I got to live up to that one. My best to you and Shauna. Have a wonderful evening. Kit, thank you so much. Feel free to always, feel free to share about the Redding Eagles, those eaglets that are now in the nest. And if you ever want to talk live to me on a scope about what's going on, any exciting developments, because I know that often happens regarding a bald eagle nest, let me know if you want to come on as a guest and we'll talk about it. And we can let more people know about that, that wonderful nest. And I also would like to extend the invitation to all of you. If you have something that you would like to come on and speak with me about, I'll bring you on as a guest. And I'll do scopes too, where I'll just invite a bunch of people that happen to be watching, and if anybody wants to jump on, we can have some nice, let's call it coffee talk. And if you don't drink coffee, it's a beverage of your choice. All right, thanks, Kit. Take care, everybody. Have a great night, and again, thanks so much for watching. Take care.